Guys, what the heck is up? Welcome to the Ted Jones World Podcast. We have a very special guest on the couch with me today, Giulio Gallarotti. Giulio, what the heck is up, bro?
Yo. I appreciate that, but I don't know if I still deserve special guest treatment now that I've probably been on more than any other guest who isn't a co-host.
I think so. I think so, too. This is either your fourth or fifth time. I think it actually might be fifth time, but first time in a little bit.
If you include me calling in.
Then it's probably sixth or seventh time. What's up, bro? Wimbledon is happening right now, dude. We love 10. So why don't we talk about it, bro? Who do you got taking the men's title and then the women's title?
I guess I have Djokovic taking the men's title. And the women's title, let me see the draw. Let's take a peek at the draw here.
Okay, so
is looking pretty good.
Yeah. I don't see anyone beating Djokovic, though. That's for sure.
I mean, he apparently looked pretty good today. I didn't watch the match, but I heard that he was looking really solid.
Here you go. Here's the women's draw. Ashley Barty been number one in the world on the women's side for a couple years now.
She got pushed pretty hard in that first round match, and I don't know if that's one of those things where she was shaking off the cobwebs, and now she's back because she was hurt for a little bit.
Right.
Same thing with Sabalenka. But I've been watching Sabalenka play in the grass. She's looked really good.
Uh-huh.
And Muguruza also, who was nasty at the beginning of the year, and then also got a little injury, but now she's looking strong.
Uh-huh.
Swiatek's looking pretty good. Also, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see her go deep.
Who's gonna be the next female name in tennis other than Serena Williams when Serena retires?
Like a person who's just gonna dominate.
Yeah, a person who's gonna be who's gonna dominate and also is like a household name. Because Serena's just been the only household name in women's tennis for the past 15 years. Right? You know what I mean? For people who don't know tennis.
Right. I mean, dude, fucking Coco Gauff, man, 17 years old.
Yeah. Shout out your boy Quinton Vega.
He hits it there.
Yeah.
2 years ago, bro, she got to the fourth round here, I think. When she was 15.
Yeah. That was crazy. You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
I think she's probably going to be the next American talent when she hits 20 years old. She's still young AF right now.
I mean, dude, she's 17 years old. She's the 20 seed. I mean, she's top 30 in the world. At Wimbledon, they adjust the seeds a little bit if you're good on grass. So I feel like maybe they bumped Coco up a little higher than she should be or something.
How do you feel about those Wimbledon seeds, the seeding, by the way?
I think it's great.
The fact that they have control over their own ranking. I think that's actually kind of a good idea, you know?
I mean, if you think about it, they were saying this on Twitter, but if they had done the same thing at the French Open, it would have been that Nadal-Djokovic match would have happened in the finals, probably.
Right.
Because Medvedev is the number 2 seed, and, he's not very good on clay, and they should have probably adjusted that. But
well, I see ultimately in the finals it's going to be a Djokovic Medvedev final. Just because I don't see anyone in the draw who would actually stop them. You know what I mean? I mean,
Medvedev's never done that well at Wimbledon, though.
Right. Yeah, he was even saying that, too. I think he was, making jokes pre-tournament. He's like, yeah, I'm terrible on grass, which isn't a great thing to say. But he also would say it just to, get into people's heads, you know?
He won Eastbourne. He looked really good.
Uh-huh.
So it wouldn't blow my mind if he made a bit of a run. But, dude, there's some other good guys in here.
Definitely.
Look up Berrettini's won Queen's Club.
Yeah.
He's looking really strong on the grass.
How about Federer?
I don't know about Fed, dude. I mean, he got really lucky yesterday.
Well, he's supposed to play Nadal in what round if they both make it?
Nadal isn't in the tournament.
Excuse me. He was supposed to play...
Djokovic's on the other half of the draw.
He's supposed to play Djokovic in the finals, potentially?
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't know if he's going to make it that far.
I don't either. So he's going to beat Gasquet. I honestly think Cameron Norrie will probably beat him.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Ugh, that would just be terrible, man. I mean, Fed had a tough loss the other week, too, or he pulled out.
He lost in 3 in Halle to somebody after winning his first round. And I remember after the first round, you said he didn't look too good.
No.
And I was not that alarmed by the score, but apparently he's just, he's old, he's rusty. It's just... It's going to be tough for him, dude.
I really don't want to see him fall on this wet grass out there. There have been at least 15 players who have taken serious spills, and Serena Williams being one of them, and she had to pull out.
I know. It happens every year, man.
Right, but apparently this year they're saying it's the wettest in a decade.
Really?
Yeah, so Manarino crushed his knee against Federer, so Federer got a little bit lucky there. But I think it's going to be Djokovic, and then Djokovic plays Denis Kudla next round. Do you see that, the qualifier? Yeah. Dennis Kula is such a funny player because I remember. Okay, so he's like a year younger than me, and I remember.
Give the people. Okay, sorry.
I was going to give them background on it. So he was like a year younger than me, and I played nationals when I was 14, and he was 13, and he was the number 1 seed in the tournament. And dude, he was so nasty. Like
really?
he used to never lose to anybody. Like he was beating kids in that tournament, like 6-1, 6-0, 6-1, 6-1, 6-1, 6-2, maybe won the national title like 6-2, 6-2. And it's so interesting to see like how these players develop. Like he must have been the most confident like 13 and 14-year-old, and then like as the game develops, you know, he just like he looks a little bit more stiff. I mean, he came down.
He's also short.
Yeah. Well, he's like 6 feet, or
is he?
Yeah, he's listed at 6 feet.
Let's get. He
I
is.
mean, I think that's like an Allen Iverson situation. You know, like he's like really 5'10".
Like when they say Schwartzman's 5'8".
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't imagine he's that small.
Well, Kudla got to the quarterfinals of Wimbledon before. This guy's known for being good on grass.
That's
honestly
true.
I haven't heard his name. He's listed at 5'11".
Yeah.
But yeah, that's generous.
Yeah.
But yeah, he always does well on grass, so that's pretty good.
We'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised if Djokovic takes it. And our good friend, a friend of the podcast also, Christy On, almost took out Sloane Stevens. That would have been a nice win. But on to the next match. But that's a good amount of prize money. How much prize money do you get for second round these days?
I think like at least 100K.
Yeah, something like that. The prize money in the recent years in tennis has been generous in terms of like how much they've gone up. You know, like tennis players really were not making that much money from prize money. I mean, ever until like the past few years.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Like the winner of the U.S. Open, I think like life 10 years ago were making like $1.5 million, and now they're making $3 million.
$1.5 million is a lot, though. It's not like it's not a lot.
True.
I mean, my whole life that I've been into tennis, players have been making money. I've heard that they're doing a thing now where they're paying the winners a little less and they're paying the early rounds more.
I like that, though.
Which I think is cool.
Well, because there's only really like 4 people who like make it that far.
The people who are winning it all are making a shit ton of money anyway. So it's like a nice way to kind of spread it out.
Yeah. So who do you think is going to retire first, though? Nadal or Federer? Interesting question.
That's a good question. Probably Federer, dude. But I mean,
really, yeah, I can see Federer going out like with some glory. Like he'll win a tournament, win a ATP 500, and then he'll bow out. Win like what's that tournament in his hometown? Geneva.
Basel.
Dude,
I think totally. But I also think that he's sort of already retired. If you think about it. Like, he's not playing. He hasn't played a real schedule in a long time. He pulled out of the French Open to try to save himself for the grass court season. Like, he's like stacking his schedule now in a way where like he can't handle playing on tour for real.
Yeah. And it's also these 3 out of 5 set battles, man. People are talking about it more and more. And like, as I played tennis, like for real competitively the other day, I really forget how insane tennis shape is compared to any other shape. Like running every day a few miles is not going to do anything for you on the tennis court unless you're doing full out sprints and like testing your lungs on an everyday basis. Like tennis is a freaking grueling conditioning sport. And then these guys are out here you saw Murray. He was on the court for what, like 4 hours today.
Something like that.
And he's in the third round, but like that guy's had hip surgery twice and he's still in the mix. But I would like to see men's tennis and women's tennis. If we're going to talk about making men's and women's tennis equal prize money, whatever, they should play the same amount of time, man. 2 out of 3 sets is plenty.
I agree. I mean, but then there's a thing. I mean, it's a tough one, dude. I'm on the fence about it. Like, there's something so like awesome about the best of 5 situation. Yeah. But at the same token, like, I don't even want to watch a match that's that long. Like I won't even
long time.
I literally won't even watch the first set. Like the first set doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter, right?
Even Djokovic lost the first set of his first match and then like easily won the match. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to watch that first set. Like never would I have been like, oh, Djokovic is gonna lose.
And then you've also said it in the past, though, like these guys who are winning the 3 out of 5 set matches, I mean, they can afford to get to those 3 out of 5 set matches because they have, 3 trainers, a nutritionist, a cryogenic guy, or whatever it is.
Right. They have all this like hardware too to help them recover. They spend a lot of money on recovery. Totally.
Sleeping in that thing. What's that thing called?
I think it's called a hyperbaric chamber.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Dude, Djokovic sleeps on one of those to like help his blood recover. It's like a way to like basically take it's basically doping without doping.
Right.
Without having to take anything. It's like a loophole. Dude, yeah, it seems like the 3 out of 5 format favors the people with a lot of money, which maybe is part of the reason why these guys have been able to dominate the game since it's been such a physical game or something. Especially like the Nadal and Djokovic of the world. Federer's kind of just like a freak of nature. Like he's just so balanced and center that he just never gets hurt or something.
I'll be really upset though if Federer doesn't go down as the greatest player of all time, man. Just his game, his class, his elegance, whatever. Like the way that Nadal and Djokovic came to the top of the game was just not as pure, in my opinion, as Federer. Like Federer was winning everything for a few years. Nadal just won the French Open 11 years in a row, which is sick. And Djokovic just won I think 7 tourneys in a row.
He didn't start winning. Djokovic didn't start winning for a while. Like remember, for a while he was just like
pulling out when he lost.
I know, but he was also just number 3 for years.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He couldn't beat those guys. And then there's that one match where he just was down double match point against Federer, closed his eyes, hit a return. Remember that?
Vaguely.
He just ripped a forehand return that was an insane
What
shot.
tournament was that?
U.S. Open.
Okay. Was that the 09?
I don't remember. Maybe around then though, maybe. And ever since then he kind of got over the hump a little bit and started winning some tourneys, but it took him a bit. But then he became dominant as fuck, like you said, for a while. But Fed was pure. You're right. Fed's rise was pure.
So is Djokovic going to win all 4 the calendar year Grand Slam?
Dude,
it looks like it.
He could. I mean, listen, he always has a little bit of trouble at the U.S. Open though, for a variety, whether it's he's hitting umpires in the head with balls.
Yeah. Or the larynx.
Or dude, just losing. Or just larynx.
Yeah.
Or just losing. He would lose to Wawrinka.
Yeah.
And then he lost. He lost to Nishikori, I think, that one year.
Those 2 guys fell off a little bit. I thought they'd hang around the top 5
Nishikori?
for a little bit longer. And Wawrinka, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I thought they'd hang around a little bit
slams.
longer. Right, that's true. People do forget about that. More slams than Murray.
The same.
Same amount. Murray's won 3?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
2 Wimbledons, U.S. Open.
Yes.
And Wawrinka has won everything except Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. You figure that'd be a good slam for him.
And only a 1,000 level tournament. Only one. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So the 1,000 level tournaments are the next tier below the Grand Slam. So usually it's maybe you'll win a couple of those, but you don't win a Grand Slam or something like that. But to have one more Grand Slams than Masters 1000 tournaments, it's pretty much unheard of. Unless it's you've won one Grand Slam and no Masters 1000s.
Yeah.
To win multiple Grand Slams and win fewer thousands than that, I don't think anybody else is like that. I mean, Murray's won 20 of those events.
It's funny how you and I have been talking about when the Big 4 is going to retire and who's going to take over. And still, a few years later, I really can't say who's going to be in the top 5 in 2 years from now. When Djokovic, Nadal, Fed, and Andy Murray's gone. I thought Murray was going to be gone.
I mean, he's done, dude. Come on.
Well, we'll see what happens in this tournament. I think he's going to make the 4th round or quarters, and he's just going to be supported by the Wimbledon crowd. They're all going to love him, and then this is probably his last Wimbledon, something like that.
He's also playing Shapovalov next round.
Oh yeah, he is playing Jabbo.
So, dude, I don't know. I don't know if he can win that match. He's done as far as I'm concerned. The other 3 guys, I mean, they keep saying how every time a new generation comes around, the big 3 just outlast that entire generation until the next generation comes. That just keeps happening. There's this quote, next gen, whatever, but still Zverev's 23 or 24 now? 24? And all these guys are getting into their mid-20s and none of them have won Grand Slam still.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the big guys are still dominating. I mean, obviously Team won the U.S. Open.
But now he's burnt out, right?
Now he's burnt out.
It's so bizarre.
And he got hurt again. So, I mean, dude, I don't know.
Some good young American guys, but I mean,
Korda is the best one probably, right?
Korda, yeah, Sebastian Korda.
He plays, that's a good match the next round. Who are they playing?
Sebastian Korda?
Yeah, Korda's playing somebody good.
He's in did he play his second round today?
Yeah, he beat Di Minora yesterday in the first round. Yeah, sorry, he won his second round match today. And he's playing somebody good in the 3rd round. That's a good match.
Sorry, who do you play in the first round?
De Minaur, who's really good on grass.
He's playing. He's playing Dan Evans in the third round, which I think that'll be a tight one. And then the winner of that plays Kachanov versus TFO. So this is an interesting little a little cluster to get to the fourth round and then off to the quarters. TFO, I've really been waiting on to break out for years. I mean, he was like number one in the country in every age group. Yeah, but like these American guys, like. When's the last American star? Andy Roddick, man. It was the last American star also before Andy Roddick was another big server, or a big weapon guy, which is Pete Sampras.
Yeah, I can see.
So like now, right. Yeah. So now it's just like everybody has to have every shot. If you don't have every shot in the book, you're just not going to be a winner. Like Zverev double faulting 20 times during a match. Like that's not going to cut it. You know I don't like Zverev and I, talk a lot of ish about him, but like having a serve like that and just having his forehand fall apart, like I don't know, man. I wouldn't be so surprised if he didn't win a Grand Slam. I know a lot of people would disagree, and they would be very surprised if he didn't. But like, you got to string together 7 matches in a row, 3 out of 5 sets, and there are like a lot of good players in the mix. You can't really like identify to like a Berrettini, even a Casper Ruud, someone like that. Today. Berrettini lost today.
No, Casper.
Let me see that.
But no, totally, dude. You're right, and I think. A guy like TFO, his technique isn't that great, but he's really athletic. So maybe, let's say he makes up for his lack of technique with athleticism. Yeah. But he's just tends to not be super focused. You know what I mean? He'll just like have a couple bad games. You can't really do that. But I've watched both of his matches. He played really well today. I mean, the guy, he's beaten 2 really good players in a row. I mean, Tsitsipas, who sometimes goes out early in Wimbledon. He lost to Fabiano a couple years in Wimbledon in the first round, too. Sure. Which was random. Yeah. Still a huge win for Francis. And then...
Straight sets, too, dude.
And then he beat Pospisil, who's really good on grass also. Yeah. Really good at Wimbledon. So, I mean, those are 2 huge wins. If he loses to Kachanov, I mean, it's a good run. I think he could win that match, though. Yeah. I don't think he necessarily will, but he could. Yeah. What was the other match you were talking about in that quarter? Korda
versus Dan Evans.
That's a good one.
Dan Evans, who's just like, what is it? What's his build? He's probably like 5'9", 170 or something like that. Just kind of like short and quick though. Has a good little game. Yeah, that one-hander.
He's not super athletic looking, but he's like really smart. Has a lot of good shots. He's good at the net, and he's a good competitor. I mean, he beat somebody good today.
Who's this? Dan Evans?
Yeah.
Lajovic. I always mess up his name. Dustin Lajovic from Serbia.
Right. I guess I expect him to win that, but still, like
he looked straights too, though.
He looked solid, and
he's always done pretty well
I'd love for him to go deep, dude.
And also, I mean, him being from Great Britain, man, like Wimbledon loves their own, man. Yeah. It's really nice to see the little tennis whites.
I honestly think, who's he playing next again? Evans? Oh,
Korda.
I think that
take a look at that.
He should be able to win that.
Yeah.
Korda's pretty good, though, man. I mean, Korda, the thing that disappoints me about Korda, here's this guy. His dad won the Australian Open. Comes from an athletic family. His sisters are both like PGA Tour golfers.
Yeah, and they're cute, too, bro.
And apparently they're cute.
If you're single, hit me up.
And he's like 6'5" or something, but he doesn't serve that big.
He needs to grow into his body a little bit more.
Why are you not just hitting bombs?
Yeah. What's up with Riley Opelka?
He lost in the first round.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't grown into an Isner-esque type.
I mean, I believe he's
also
the top,
still kind of young.
He's the top ranked American, I think, still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's pretty good, but dude, I think that Wimbledon, if you're not good at returning, you have trouble. Like totally. Isner's never done much at Wimbledon. Like Isner's done better at the French than he's done at Wimbledon. You know what I mean? So a guy with that big of a serve, you're not going to return a serve no matter what surface you're on. But on the slower courts, he has a better chance of returning your serve. Whereas on Wimbledon, these guys, they can't return the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Opelka and Isner, they're too big and they're too goofy, and they just can't get the ball back in the court.
What tournament do you think, I mean, from your personal perspective, what do you think, what tournament would be the most fun to go to in terms of watching actual tennis?
I think Wimbledon, dude.
I would think French, though, just like a little bit longer ground games.
Oh, like as far as just like
overall tennis. Yeah. I like the atmosphere of Wimbledon. I agree. But you've been to Wimbledon, haven't you?
No.
Didn't you go to the site where it was?
I've been to the grounds of the French. Yeah. I've never been to Wimbledon.
Okay. That's what it was.
No, I hear you though. Like the style of clay can be fun to watch. Although I think there's redeeming things about all the different surfaces, maybe.
Right.
But Wimbledon, the temperature is the nicest.
Yes.
Australia is hot. U.S. Open's really hot. I guess the second week of the U.S. Open is cool at night, which is nice.
Sure. Yeah, you go to those night matches. Dude, you and I almost went to Paris, actually.
I know.
Christy asked Giulio and I if we wanted to go to Paris as her player guest. This was was this 5 years back?
I think it
was either 4 or 5. 4.
No, it's not sooner. It must have been more recent than that.
Like 4 years.
Was she playing qualies?
Chalk it up at that. I think she wanted us to go to qualies. And dude, that would have been so fun. We should have went. So Giulio and I actually have been guests of Christy On's twice before at the U.S.
Not
Open.
3 times? I think you're right. I think so.
Yeah, dude. Look, I got the 2 credentials right here. That's funny.
Nice.
2017 here and 2019. So Giulio
fun.
and I were messing around in the Players Lounge so much.
Dude, I got excited today because on the screen they said that Christy had gotten to the quarters of the U.S. Open.
Oh yeah, you said that.
And I was I could have sworn she got to the 4th round, and then I double checked, and it was the 4th round. They fucked up on ESPN.
Right.
But dude, what a run she had. That was
we went to all those matches.
That was one of the greatest moments of my life. Christy making a run.
I'm happy you said that. It was really one dude, you and I drinking honeydeuces, cheering Christy on, bro.
My God,
we
dude.
were wasted in the crowd. She was playing so well. It was honestly such a treat. And then ESPN was showing her so much love. It was great.
We went to Kuznetsova.
Yes.
And we went to Yastremska. Is that who she played?
The girl who Nick Kyrgios was dating, who I won't be. Caddis. Should I call Christy right now and ask her who she was playing? No, it was that cute girl who Nick Kyrgios was dating. Do you remember who I'm talking about?
It was Yastremska.
How can I find that?
Look up Christy's U.S. Open. Look up the U.S. Open that year.
2019.
Yeah, 2019 U.S. Open draw. And then she beat Ostapenko.
Yes.
So she beat 2 former Grand Slam champions.
Kalinskaya, yeah.
Kalinskaya. And then she lost to Mertens.
And we were at that match. But yeah, that was a tough battle.
Dude,
and that was
Mertens,
after the Berrettini match.
Yes. He beat Rublev.
Yes.
Incredible. So, dude, and I remember just watching him just rip forehands, being like, this guy fucking rips it. Dude, Chris, let's not Christy gets tough draws at these tournaments.
Dude, they were talking about that too. How she played Serena twice this year.
She also played Barbara Strychkova in the first round of the Australian Open that time where she got in there.
Yeah.
She's like a former top 15 player.
Yes.
She plays Kuznetsova in the first round of the U.S. Open. Someone who's won the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
She beat her, yeah. But and then who else? Then she was in the French. She played Serena, and then Wimbledon. She's played Wimbledon before, right?
The tournament itself?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean not qualies?
Go on her wiki and see who she's played.
Let's see. Christy, I think also they added her her middle name to her Wikipedia recently. I don't know if you saw that. So I didn't know her middle name was Hyorim. Which is interesting. That. You learn something new every day, brother. Okay. Christy on what? Are we just doing Wimby?
No, just let's see. So it'll say her best result at Wimbledon on her wiki.
Yeah, you're right.
And it should say, I don't think she's ever gone past the first. Oh, no, second round. It will be this year. It'll say second round.
Right. Yeah, so French Open was the first, Australian Open first, U.S. Open.
And it was only one date on both of those, right? On Australian and French? She's only played main draw once?
No. Australian, she's played main draw twice.
Oh, she played Serena the other time.
Yeah. Dude, and she's also made, oh my God, she's made so much money, dude, in her career.
Good for her.
How much do you think she's made?
$600K?
1,070,684.
Good for her.
It's also just because, doubles you make money, but guys, no joke for a lot of these people who don't play every single week in the big tourneys. Here, I can fix that for you. It's tough to make money in this sport. Password's just, I don't want anyone to know my password. It's the easiest password. I'm sure you guys can guess it.
Dude, so you're going to hear something funny. What? Today I was messing with JC. So our buddy Spencer's sister's named JC, and she was like, why aren't you guys going on the boat? Because they're all going on a boat in Chicago, and Hillary and I are not going.
Okay.
We have a thing going on during the day. But sure. I was like, listen, be really careful at that pier. It's one of the most dangerous places in America where you guys are getting the boat. I'm making it up.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I was like, be careful.
And she believed you? In terms of a dangerous neighborhood?
Yeah, I was like, oftentimes young women are accosted.
Right. Oh my God.
And I don't know what this response means. She said, okay, I didn't read the second text. Oh, and just bugged and then opened my phone and saw a second, so you suck. So that means that At first she believed it, but then she didn't.
Oh.
I thought I was going to get her with that. She's pretty gullible.
Yeah. This particular friend's sister is extremely gullible.
She's awesome, though.
Yeah, she's
so
a great
fun.
kid. I love gullible people, man. They make it pretty fun.
Dude, I'm pretty gullible. You lie to me like semi-regularly, and I tend to believe you.
Yeah, but I think at this point you've kind of deciphered what's a lie and what's not.
Dude, sometimes you lie and you're not even trying to. Like you just think something.
Like today.
Is true.
Like when I told you who the 11 seed was, and it just turned out that the 11 seed was the 8 seed, so I was completely wrong. But I thought it said it on the TV, and they both had Spanish names, so I got confused.
Okay, dude. So Christy played. She played Wimbledon in 2019. So let's see the draw here. Who did Christy play? Let's see if my theory remains correct. She's only playing the best fucking players every single time.
Christy also graduated from Stanford University, which is like a crazy thing, and we'll touch on this.
She played Sevastova. She was the number 12 seed.
Yeah.
And nasty on grass.
Yeah, crazy draws.
Christy
but anyway,
fucking making it happen still. Bless her heart.
Graduated from Stanford, and we can touch on this quickly because I just saw your story before you got over here, Giulio. And now the NCAA is going to be paying athletes, but like, what does that even mean?
Matter for tennis players.
Yeah,
I think if you're allowed to collect endorsements,
like you're allowed to sign autographs, and maybe you're allowed to make a cat per week.
No, you're allowed to like have a Nike deal.
Interesting. So that could be huge.
Endorsements. So again, you have to be in a noteworthy sport and be a notable player in that sport in order to be benefiting from that. Now, the other question, of course, is if Nike sponsors University of Oregon or whatever big program, are you getting money for that or not? Like, that's unclear.
Sure.
Let's see what else it says.
Because in like a specific situation, you mentioned that like UConn, when I went to school there, like the program, Nike gave UConn like $80 million per year. So maybe the students would see some of that 80 mil.
Like maybe I doubt it's going to be the type of thing like where the tennis team is going to be making money off that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends what school, but yes, even USC.
Maybe. Say like the best team that's on TV sometimes, maybe they'll get a couple bucks here and there.
Yeah.
So it says through endorsements and a variety of other ventures. Now, I don't know if it doesn't sound to me like they're going to be making a percentage of like TV revenue or anything.
That'd be crazy. That's like that'd be too nice of the NCAA to do that.
Not nice, bro. These fucking poor kids.
No, but I mean the NCAA wouldn't do that. Like, do you see what happened in the College World Series with NC State?
No.
So they have a packed crowd, like 21,000 people. They're even tweeting about it before the game. And 4 of the kids who've gotten vaccine shots on NC State baseball team were tested. Like, they just decided that they were going to test even the players who were vaccinated. They tested these 4 players, and they came up positive. And then they just, like at 3 a.m. before their game, like their game was supposed to start at 1 p.m., they said that NC State was disqualified from the tournament. So, like, they just came up with these rules right on the spot. Just to, pull the rug out from under them.
That doesn't sound like rules on the spot. It's like...
No, but they had... Because they weren't testing players that were vaccinated before, up until this particular time.
But what does that have to do with profit sharing of TV revenue?
It just has to do with, like, the NCAA being sketchy and talking about how they wouldn't be fair to the athletes in general.
I think that isn't this the direct result of some kind of, like judicial hearing or something?
For what?
Like, wasn't there some kind of, like... Supreme Court or something having to do with the NCAA and like essentially stealing from the players by not paying them or allowing them to make money or something?
I think so. It did go to some form of that.
Yeah. So I wonder if this is like the NCAA negotiating and this is the agreement they came to or something. I still think it's bullshit. I still think the players should be getting paid. If their games are on ESPN or whatever, they should be making money. A lot of these kids, they go to college. They come from fucking poor families.
Yeah, dude.
They're going to get some joke of a degree.
Yeah, and they can barely eat.
And they're at school. They can barely do shit. And it's like they're putting themselves at risk for their professional days.
Yeah.
But not to mention, some of these people will never play professionally. So it's like they should be able to make some money. If you're selling their likeness, you know what I mean? If their team is generating all this revenue and publicity and all this stuff, why should they not be getting any of that money?
So do you think that when they come back with like NCAA basketball and NCAA football, do you remember playing those like video games?
Yeah.
Do you think that the kids should be making money from that too?
Of course. I think they should be making money from everything. Why should this, like, we've been brainwashed to believe that, like, there's something more pure about playing not for money.
Totally.
What is more pure about it?
Totally.
Why, like, it makes it less fun for you as the spectator to watch these starving fucking children run around like you're a loser.
Yeah.
Like,
back in the day, man, when like Rod Laver couldn't play like all the tournaments because there was like amateur status and Grand Slam status, just like dumb shit like
stupid,
that to avoid people from getting paid. Just like rig the system.
I don't understand the rationale behind that.
Well, like how they had that
like,
back in the day.
Was it just the way it was, like, for some reason?
I think so, yeah, because people never
really
took...
the Olympics?
Yeah, like people never really took tennis so super seriously, I think, so that they thought that they can like separate it out between like, okay, you get paid for this or you don't get paid. Right. But like it's more honorable if you don't get paid. Stuff like that.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Dude, if you're making
that shit.
If they're making millions of dollars
off of ticket sales
off of you, you're good,
you.
And they're selling you. They're watching you on TV.
Right.
They're selling tickets, all that shit. You don't owe the school shit. They give you some shitty degree. Fuck that degree. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a fair... That degree's worth, what, 30 grand, 40 grand? Depends on where you go. Or fine, if you go to some, like, private school, it's worth more. But still, dude, like, you should be getting money also.
They've been shoving that... The NCAA has been shoving that down student athletes' throats for... I mean, ever since they've been around, right? Like, you're getting an education. You know, that's what we're paying you to do. You're getting free $40,000 a year education.
Totally, dude.
And then you're fucking starving each night because you can't afford dinner. They didn't give you like enough food, whatever it is.
Dude, it's complete bullshit. And now you're at this school and you're living like some fucking second class citizen, even though you're like on the basketball team, you can't do shit. All these fucking rich kids prancing around. Fuck, dude, fuck all of that shit. You should be getting paid for being exceptional. Why not? And that's it. That's what
Did kids, Giulio Gallarotti here went to Boston University. Did kids from the Boston University hockey team like go straight into the NHL draft? Because like they were sick. Or
I
they
think
have
so.
been
I
sick.
think it was the same as the way that the baseball does it, where like you can get drafted while you're still in college.
Yeah.
And you still play in college or something.
Sure.
I didn't, dude, to be honest, that was like its own scene. Like the hockey team, they had their own gym. The
arena was sick when I went to visit.
The arena was really
school.
nice. And to be honest, I mean, they were in their own league as far as the quality, so they deserve special treatment for sure.
Right.
And they got it as they deserved it. I mean, they were one of the best teams in the country all the time. Obviously, college hockey isn't super popular.
Yeah.
But it's popular enough that these guys were treated like they were special, and they were.
I would like to see, I mean, maybe they've done it now, but I mean, I guess we don't know so much about like the details in terms of how the NCAA is going to pay athletes and such. But I would like to see something that's just like clearly in the lines, like you can be paid X amount for this is your value, something like that.
So
where like it's not so confusing.
I think in the coming days and weeks or whatever, there will be like people breaking it down, because I'm sure it's some dense document.
Totally.
It's difficult to
some
read.
Lawyer ass ish.
Yeah. So I'm sure that they will come out with some bullet point, like you can do this, you can do this stuff on social media, and we'll all start to understand a little bit more what they mean exactly. But dude, yeah, I'm happy. I mean, I reposted it. Yeah. I am very, if you guys can't already tell, I feel very strongly about this. And I think it's crazy to let these fucking kids, especially playing football, they're bashing their fucking brains in, literally, for you. Also, what's his name can get Nick Saban, can get fucking the Gatorade dumped on him at the end of the year. You know what I mean? You're just like destroying these people's minds and lives, and you're not going to give them any money.
Yeah. Also, I was watching how even like basketball, man, you mentioned football there, but like even basketball, these kids playing 6 games on a weekend for like their AAU team, and then they're playing for their high school during the week. So like Saturday and Sunday, they're traveling like 200 miles to go play a game in Virginia. They play 3 back-to-back games on Saturday, no rest, and then 3 on Sunday, and then they go travel back to school on Tuesday to play another game.
Of course, they aren't fucking doing their classes all the way.
Yeah, dude. And now you're seeing like younger guys in the NBA getting injured. Ben Simmons and people with like leg injury, Donovan Mitchell, stuff like that. I mean, I'm saying is the pressure for these organizations to get the most out of these kids at the youngest age really, I mean, really necessary.
Right. So, I mean, you know,
let the kids be kids.
No, totally. In the pros, you know, it's the pros. It's like, that's the whole idea. You get paid, you play, You get hurt, you can't play, and then you get better and you play again. So I get the idea of like the wear and tear of playing when you're young, but let's just assume that young kids can bounce back easily from injury.
Sure.
Hopefully, or they can recover better. They're not like wearing down their bodies yet at this age. Now, they can get some kind of career-ending injury. That's, of course, a risk, which is another reason why, it makes sense to give them money while they're in college because they're risking their future for the program and for the school. But this argument like, oh, you're getting a free education. I mean, these kids are basically playing professional sports schedules, to your point. So it's like, of course they're not going to school full-time. And who gives a shit? Whatever, some liberal arts education, they don't fucking need that. They don't need to read fucking Paradise
Moby
Lost
Dick.
and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? All that stuff's great, and it's a great formative education, and it can help you in a lot of the things you do. But if you don't have time because you're the best fucking athlete in the world, of course you can't go to class. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And then it's like you have that degree, but so what? It's worthless. You didn't do shit. You didn't learn shit. You probably didn't finish college, and then you're hurt or whatever, and you can't do. Like you're not gonna be able to do anything.
Are we going to see kids go to college less with like the availability to learn more stuff on YouTube, and now you can just go play in Europe for a year, something like that?
Right. So I wonder because they made the rule about having to go to Europe for a year because kids were going straight to the NBA and they didn't want that to be happening anymore. They thought that was too young to be going straight to playing in the pros, which is an interesting point. But you have to wonder if by introducing these new rules where you can now monetize your college athletic experience, will that actually draw more kids to playing in college?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially those, if you're fucking whoever, LeVar Ball or whoever, I guess that's the dad, right? LaMelo Ball, whichever one of those guys went to play in China.
Yes.
If he could have signed a sneaker
Lithuania.
deal.
Yeah.
If he could have signed a sneaker deal, he would have stayed and probably played for University of Texas or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you have to assume that maybe if you're going to sign some big deal, then you'll actually go to college. You'll actually make college sports better. Because, think about who that affects. The Zions, these guys who play 1 year and leave, or maybe they will be more likely to stay longer if they sign some deal or something.
And they make actual money while they're in college. And the separation between his first year at Duke and his first year on the New Orleans Pelicans is not from making $100 a week in food checks to making $35 million a year. It's a closer gap, something like that.
So a guy like Zion though, when you're a rookie and you sign, is he making more than the rookie minimum or whatever?
I don't believe so. On his shoe deal for sure, but I think that he's making a rookie minimum for the 3 years, and then he signs a bigger deal. Something like that.
So I guess if you think about it this way, maybe it doesn't end up changing the dynamics of who's going to be playing and who isn't, because Zion's still leaving after his first year to go to the pros.
Totally.
These big guys are still, maybe he's not going to go to Lithuania anymore and also go to college, but not that many guys do that anyway, right?
Yeah, no.
Not a small percentage.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more these days, but it's still a small percentage.
Still small. And then the other guys are still doing whatever they were going to do. But at the end of the day, regardless of any of that, it's fair, dude. It's just fair. So
it's about time.
Whether or not it changes or makes college sports better or worse or whatever, doesn't matter, because it's nice that we're taking a step in the direction of making things more fair for these athletes. Even though it's sounding to me it's not fully fair, I would like to see them getting more money, but it's a step in the right direction.
Would you have, you yourself being a college athlete or prior college athlete, would you have your kid focus on one sport in particular now that the NCAA's changed in terms of paying out player money?
If I had a son
would you make your son play tennis, or would you want him to go play baseball, basketball, football, or something like that because of the money change?
Well, I wouldn't want him to play contact sports.
Sure.
For the sake of
football, life,
for the sake of his future
and his head.
Life, and I would I would actually forbid him from doing it, and then hope that he didn't rebel against me and join anyway. Now, granted, if my kid was a reject and he was for lack of a better term, let's say reject, and he was getting in trouble and he was doing drugs, and then he found football, that's great. You know what I mean? Sure, go play football. Football is there's great things about football. It's camaraderie and
sure.
you bond with these teammates.
Sportsmanship.
You go through everything with them, and it's a beautiful thing. It's just, unfortunately, you're bashing each other's heads in, which sucks. But I don't think I'm going to be that pushy with my kid.
Yeah.
I don't think. I don't really know. I feel like it's hard to know what kind of parent you're going to be till you actually have a kid. My parents weren't that pushy with me about sports.
Well, your dad, you played tennis with your dad, though, a good amount.
I asked him to teach me.
Okay.
So my dad used to be a teaching pro in college, and he used to make money teaching and stuff. And then when I was, a kid, I never played tennis. I just played what everybody else played, soccer, basketball. And then one time I went to this, my parents sent me to a religious camp by accident.
No way.
By accident. Dude, my other friends were going there, and their parents neglected to mention to my parents that it was like a religious camp. You had to say grace and shit. And it wasn't super religious, but it was religious. It was not which is not really our thing, sending me to a religious program. However, during that camp, I always had good hand-eye coordination. We started messing around playing tennis, and I kind of taught myself how to whack it around a little. And then I asked my dad to teach me when I was 12. That's how I don't know if you ever knew that.
No, I didn't. So you went to a religious camp, unassumingly, and then got good at tennis.
Within a year, I became pretty good.
Uh-huh.
I became good enough that my strokes looked good. I just would miss a lot of shots.
Right.
You know what I mean? I looked better than I was. And then I started going to tennis camp. And then by the time I was in high school, I was the best player in my school. But that wasn't saying that much. Our conference wasn't that strong overall, but our team was pretty deep.
Yeah.
I played number 1, and we won the conference championship pretty easily. And then we won it all 4 years that I was in college.
What other schools? I know that you looked at UConn for a moment, but what other schools besides BU and UConn were you kind of looking at for tennis?
Stony Brook.
Okay, they're solid.
Wheaton.
Wheaton in Massachusetts?
They were recruiting me.
Okay, that's where Jared Karlovac went.
Did he? No, I think he went to Skidmore.
I think he went to Wheaton for a moment. This is a friend that we haven't seen in 15 years. Yeah.
I think we've actually had this exact conversation before.
Really?
Yeah, where you're I think he went to Wheaton for you. Anyway, he was a good dude.
Yeah.
So, and then Swarthmore was also another.
Wow, smarty pants, bro.
That was a D3 school. Also, I know it's
Pennsylvania.
Good. Probably should have gone there or Wesleyan. I could have gone.
I don't know,
Wesleyan.
man.
No, I'm happy with how things
right. Well, you also wouldn't have had the New York City kind of connection between Boston, New York.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where you would have ended up.
I feel like I would have ended up here. It's hard to say. Anyway,
who knows?
Also GW.
Yes.
American. Boston College.
Damn.
That's pretty much it. But I don't think I even ended up applying to American or George Washington. This is all kind of BU were really the only team that seemed like I was going to be that seemed interested in me.
So by the time I started looking at schools, American actually didn't have a program anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this past year, due to COVID, UConn tennis, where I played tennis for 2.5 years, had to shut down their program just due to funding. Ultimately, the reason they kept the tennis team was because we had the highest GPA, us and the golf team.
Oh, really?
So it brought up the other team's GPA.
That's crazy.
And then once we were just ultimately spending money and we had an okay GPA, it just didn't make sense to have the UConn tennis team exist.
Wait, so the GPA went down, or you're saying that with COVID?
I think that they were either going to cut the golf team or the tennis team because we were both costing the school money, and we both equally had good GPAs. So I'm pretty sure they still have the golf team.
That is an unbelievably stereotypical.
That the
golf and tennis team had the best GPA. It's also hilarious. It's your coach is all right, guys, it's much more important for you to study than to practice.
I know, bro.
If we want the team to exist.
And I was I had probably some of the lowest grades on the team, except for the 2 semesters where I found out how to cheat really well. When I got when I got an A in statistics, and all my boys on the tennis team were dude, how did you get an A in statistics? And I just I figured out
the hardest class.
Dude, I figured out that if I sat in one seat, that they had they had the 2 tests where it was A, B, the different kinds of tests. So the kid sitting in front of me would have the same test as me, A. So I knew that
How'd you know they were smart?
The kid sitting next, I didn't. I just risked it. And
Did you just racially profiled them?
Yeah, dude. I just copied the Asian kids. So I had 3 tests, and I got high 80s on both of them, and then a 95 on one of them.
Hilarious.
And then in terms of the homework,
but there was
I never
a
did
scale
the homework.
too. It was probably graded on a scale for statistics. So
Yeah.
the 85 is an 100.
This might be the first time I'm fully admitting that I just flat out cheated and got an A in statistics.
Do your parents know?
That was crazy. I don't know, man. There's a lot of sketchy stuff that I did in college that I don't think they should know. Also high school too, cheating. I was always such a fucking cheater in high school and college.
Dude, one of my ex-girlfriends whose dad is wildly successful. She
told Selena and Barnes guy.
No, I'm not gonna throw the family under the bus. But the dad is one of the most successful guys I know.
Okay.
And his daughter told him, she's like, I figured out how to like cheat in this class to her dad. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe she just admitted to that. And he goes,
you were there when this?
Yeah. And he goes, I'm very proud of you. And I was like, oh my God. He's like,
what class was it though that he said that?
But she's a hardworking girl. I'm not trying to make it.
Right.
She worked hard but it was just like maybe some random class. And I think that like he later explained, he's like, that's a complete worthless thing that you don't need. He's like, I'm proud of you for figuring out a way to get the grade you needed without having to waste your time on it. And I was like, holy fuck, that's incredible. And that's why, like, dude, thinking like that, dude, sometimes can get you ahead, man. It's like following the rules shit, like, it can get
figure
you
out how to get it done.
Being too much of a pussy. You got to make things happen.
You majored in communications.
Technically, yes.
Right. Okay, I was like a journalism guy. It was like between communications and journalism, and then I was supposed to do. I was gonna minor in women's studies, but I was like a few because like there was a teacher that taught like 3 of the courses. And I needed like a 4th course to get to minor in it. Yeah. So I took the class. Her name was like Barbara something. I can't remember her name. And we hit it off. Like she loved me. I was like one of the only men in the class. I sat like this, dude, like with my legs crossed. And she like commented on it. She was like, I think that it's very manly when a man sits like that.
Oh my
or
God.
like it's a great expression of masculinity or something.
Did you guys hook up?
I ended up taking her class like 3 semesters in a row. I never hooked up with her. No, but I hooked up with my TA once, and like that's how I got tests to like some of the math exams. That was also a big secret. Yeah,
dude, fucking savage.
Yeah, man. But high school and college were really hard for me.
Avoiding class
really hard for me.
Means.
Yeah,
really?
Man. Yeah, it was crazy. Like in high school, I never got above like a 2.6. And then I got to college, I became a better cheater, and I had like a 3.2 one semester, which was like big for me. And I ended up graduating from college with a 3.0, which is nuts.
How?
I started off in college like on almost academic probation, and then after like the 2.5 year hump, I wasn't on the tennis team anymore. I had maybe a little bit more time for academics. I became more suave in how to, pick my classes and stuff.
Yeah.
Women's studies, the teacher loved me, so I was getting A's. It's kind of stuff like that, taking the maybe not so difficult courses.
Doing what you got to do to survive, dude.
For sure, bro. Yeah. So you got Djokovic to win Wimby and maybe Ashley Barty to win Wimby?
Dude, I'm saying, let me see that draw.
Yeah,
again.
let's see it. Let's whip
right
it out,
now,
brother.
I'm going to say my top 3 for each draw. Djokovic, obviously, is the number 1 for the men's. Muguruza is in my top 3 for the women's of people who I think are going to win. Mm-hmm. I'm not convinced about Barty. I mean, Suarez Navarro is more of like a clay court player. I don't see how she's like losing sets to her. She also hasn't been playing much. Unfortunately, as I imagine she's a cancer survivor.
Yeah, she had cancer, yeah.
Really fucking sad.
Well, she's good now, right?
Yeah, she's better now. Sabalenka is in my top 3.
I just can't see her mentally stringing that many matches together. She's too crazy.
I don't know.
She's cute, but she's crazy.
Dude, okay. So
I do her.
Swiatek?
Iga Swiatek. Didn't she just win the French?
No, she lost.
Who won the
Krejcikova.
Right. Good call.
I don't like anybody in the top half. I think that it's going to be either Sabalenka, Muguruza, Swiatek, and you can never, I guess, count out Karolina Pliskova on the fast court. Mertens, Madison Keys is the best match of the 3rd round.
Sure.
I'm seeing that right now. Those are both sleepers as well. That's who I got. Who do you got?
I mean, I know it's not like the best look to go with the 2-1 seeds, but I'm going to say Ash Barty and Djokovic. And I pray that Fed makes a run. I don't think that he's going to. And I think that Djokovic ultimately will kind of wrap it up here. But like, I think that Djokovic is going to have the most Grand Slams all said and done. I think he's going to win Wimby. He's going to win the U.S.
If he wins all 4 this year, he will have the most slams, and he will have won all 4 in the same year, which will make him the greatest player of all time without question.
And I don't really enjoy saying that, yeah.
But I prefer it to be him over Nadal.
That's true. True. Djokovic started off his career like, I mean, not really as a fan favorite too, like pulling out of matches, kind of faking being injured. I don't know if he was faking, but like he definitely got injured when he was losing.
Totally. Okay, dude. So also look out for Berrettini in the men's.
Wittadini.
Look out for Berrettini. Kyrgios, dude. I mean,
bro,
he looks a little out of shape to me.
He's always out of shape, I feel.
I think he's going to win his next match. No, he looks out of shape.
Okay.
He looks like he gained a couple pounds. He's not like fat, but he like looks a little.
The quarantine 15.
Yeah, the quarantine 15. But I don't know. We'll see. Felix Auger-Aliassime's looking good on the grass.
Sure.
And your boy Zverev is looking pretty tough too. So we'll see.
All right. Well, we'll see, man. Giulio Gallarotti, thanks so much for coming on the podcast, man. Hopefully we'll have you on many more times, man. You are always such a pleasure and such a great guest, man. So we'll see you guys next time. Peace!